This is the second day of Advent of Code 2023, and the challenge is called Code Conundrum. You're launched high into the atmosphere. The apex of your trajectory just barely reaches the surface of a large island floating in the sky. You gently land in a fluffy pile of leaves. It's quite cold, but you don't see much snow. An elf runs over to greet you. The elf explains that you've arrived at Snow Island, and apologizes for the lack of snow. He'll be happy to explain the situation, but it's a bit of a walk, so you have some time. They don't get many visitors up here. Would you like to play a game in the meantime? As you walk, the elf shows you a small bag and some cubes, which are either red, green or blue. Each time you play this game, he will hide a secret number of cubes of each colour in the bag, and your goal is to figure out information about the number of cubes. To get information, once a bag has been loaded with cubes, the elf will reach into the bag, grab a handful of random cubes, show them to you, and then put them back in the bag. He'll do this a few times per game. You play several games and record the information from each game, your puzzle input. Each game is listed with its ID number, like the 11 in game 11, followed by a semicolon separated list of subsets of cubes. That were revealed from the bag, like 3 red, 5 green, 4 blue. For example, the record of a few games might look like this. So game 1 followed by a bunch of the number followed by the colour of cube. In game 1, 3 sets of cubes are revealed from the bag, and then put back in again. The first set is 3 blue cubes, 4 red cubes, the second set is 1 red cube, 2 green cubes, and 6 blue cubes. The third set is only 2 green cubes. The elf would like to know which games would have been possible if the bag contained only 12 red cubes, 13 green cubes, and 14 blue cubes. In the example above, games 1, 2, and 5 would have been possible if the bag had been loaded with that configuration. However, game 3 would have been impossible, because at one point the elf showed you 20 red cubes at once. Similarly, game 4 would also have been impossible, because the elf showed you 15 blue cubes at once. If you added up the IDs of the games that would have been possible, you get 8. Determine which games would have been possible if the bag had been loaded with only 12 red cubes, 13 green cubes, and 14 blue cubes. What is the sum of the IDs of those games? Okay, let's get started. Okay, so we'll start off by going through each line in the input, and we also need to keep record of the game IDs, so create a list for that. So for line in input, we need to grab the ID, so I think that would be, we'll start off with a print statement just so we can see. So line.split, so split on colon, we want the first one, then we'll do dot split on space, then we want the second one. So let's run that to see if that works. So I need to make sure also that there's no white space in that, so just put length to it. Okay, that's all good. So ID equals this, and we will turn it into an int as well. Okay, no errors. So we've got the ID, and what we'll then do, games equals line, split on colon again, 1, and then split on semicolon. So we'd have this, this, and then we'll just do a double check for game in games, print game. Yep, that worked. Right. 2 red cubes, so we'll do red max equals 12, green max equals 13, blue max equals 14. And we'll have boolean valid equals true. Then we'll do if true, if valid, game IDs append ID. So for game in games, we will do cubes equals game.split by comma, then for cube in cubes, actually we will change this so it's cubes equals a dictionary, so we'll do red 12, 13, 14, and this will be green and blue. So for cube in cubes, we will do split equals cube dot split by space, then color equals split 0, and then total equals split 1. We'll convert that to an int. and we will do if cubes color is less than total, then valid equals false, and we'll break, then also do if not valid, break, and then what we want at the very end, return sum of game IDs. I feel like that might be all that needs to be done, so let's just run and see what it does, and that's not working. Let's print out color to see why that's not working. Well, it didn't print out at all. Maybe print out split. Okay, I'm not sure how that happened. Okay, I've got them reversed in the wrong order, but then there's also this space at the beginning. So we'll change it to just 1, 2. Actually, no, we'll change it to 0, 1, and we will do a strip here. Actually, we'll do that. So will that do the right thing now? Print split. Alright, I got this in the wrong order still. So it's blue. Oh, okay, it's lowercase. My bad. So change that to red, green, blue. Run that, and we got 8, which is the correct one, I'm pretty sure. There it is. So we'll now grab the input, put that into here, and we will run it. We got 2149. And so submit that, and we got the first one correct. Now on to part 2. The elf says they've stopped producing snow because they aren't getting any water. He isn't sure why the water stopped. However, he can show you how to get to the water source to check it out for yourself. It's just up ahead. As you continue your walk, the elf poses a second question. In each game you played, what is the fewest number of cubes of each colour that could have been in the bag to make the game possible? Again, consider the example games from earlier. In game 1, you could have had played with as few as 4 red, 2 green and 6 blue. So 4 was the max here, 2 green is the maximum, and then 6 blue. Okay, so we understand that part. Sorry. The power of a set of cubes is equal to the number of red, green and blue cubes multiplied together. The power of the minimum set of cubes in game 1 is 48. In games 2 to 5 it was 12, 15, 60, 630 and 36 respectively. Adding up these 5 powers produces the sum 2286. Okay, so that seems pretty straightforward. We can copy most of this. So we're no longer keeping track of game IDs. We'll do powers. So I deleted the wrong thing there. So don't need ID anymore, don't need games. Powers equals list. Don't need the valid checks anymore. And what we'll do, colors equals red 0, green 0, blue 0. So we'll store the maximum in there. So we got the game for game and games, cubes for cube and cubes split. So we've got color total, and we'll do if colors color is less than total, colors color equals total. Then when we get to the end of the for loop here, powers.append colors red times, this will be colors green, then blue, and we will return sum of powers. So let's quickly change the input back to what it was. Actually, I can just do Control Z. So let's rerun that. Okay, it's not correct. Red, green, blue. String does not support item assignment. Okay, I did the wrong one somewhere. Colors. There we go. So 2286, that sounds correct. 2286. So we'll change it back to our input. We will rerun it. And we got 71,274. So let's submit that. And that was correct. So that is day 2 of Advent of Code 2023 completed. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on me completing the rest of Advent of Code 2023.